Hello everyone. I hope you can hear this. We're waiting for other people to join us. And let's see if I can find it on my phone. There I am. I found it. Sorry that took so long. Okay. All right. Hi. We still have 2 minutes before we get started, and we'll probably wait for a little bit after that just so we get some more people in. I just want to show you where I'm working from since the library is closed. If I can turn my camera around. Oh, there it is. So I'm working in my craft room. My desk is right up to the window. And that's my view out my craft room window. I'm enjoying being home and working from home, but it's a lot of work. Please excuse my technical abilities. This is the first Facebook Live program that I'm doing, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm Teresa Becker. I work at the Holloway Gonzalez and Northeast Branch Library. Crafting is my love. So today we are going to make what I call Faberge eggs. They're decorated blown eggs. There's one example. I have some fancier ones. And if you want to know more about Faberge eggs, you can always pick up some books, some ebooks at the library. And if you don't have a library card, you can get an e-card so you can check out ebooks and e-audio while the library is closed. So, I showed you my window. Let me give you a short tour of my craft room, which my husband calls the crap room, and you'll probably understand why when you see it. We will start. There's my window. That wall is usually where my sewing machine is, but I wanted my table up by the window, so I moved it. I've done some painting in here, the border, an old Halloween costume, a chair that I'm trying to reupholster, just supplies, an old computer that barely works anymore, my floor, which of course a craft room floor has to be painted so that you can't tell if you spill anything on it. Yes, I painted this floor. My closet, which I won't open because it is just full of craft stuff, and some supplies for future craft projects. Bottle caps, corks, take out number 6 plastic tops, toilet paper rolls, bottles, cans. If you're around the house and find some of these items, save them for upcoming crafts. And of course, we are back to my window. Let me set up my camera so I don't have to hold it. If the sun comes up or out, I may have to close my shade because it shines directly into this room. And, okay, now we're set. So, supplies we are using today: push pins, paper clips come in handy for holding your egg. We may need some water, felt pens, paint and glue, glitter. They're Faberge eggs, so they need to have some shine to them. I don't have any glitter here today. I don't have any tissue paper, but those are other things you can use to decorate your egg, and I'll talk about that more once we blow our eggs. I also have some alcohol and some, I don't know why it's so bright. This alcohol is very, very old. I've used it in the past for alcohol ink projects, and we've done those at the library, so I didn't go out and buy it. Actually, these are about ready to expire, but for the craft projects, they're fine. I always have a handy roll of paper towels. And of course, today we're using eggs. So, first thing we're going to do is blow an egg. I don't know if you've ever blown an egg, but you will need somewhere for the inside of the egg to go. This is some egg that I blew earlier today. And you're going to take your egg and a push pin. If you want to use your egg afterwards, I would collect the egg in a plastic container, put it in the refrigerator, and you can make scrambled eggs or an omelet, something out of it in the morning. So I collect it in this, and then when my husband makes breakfast, he'll use the eggs. So there's a slightly narrower side to the egg and a wider side. It's good. I usually start at the top. I'm going to pierce the top of the egg with the push pin. And it's kind of hard to get in there, but just kind of work it in. And I turn it around a little bit. For the top hole, I usually try to do 2 or 3 stabs with the push pin. I don't know if you can see that. There's 2 holes. I'll do a third one. The bigger the holes you make, the easier it is to blow the egg. The problem is then you have big holes in your egg and you have to try to cover them up some way. So there's my top hole. And now I'm going to do the bottom hole, but let me show you the size of the bottom hole. I did these earlier today. This one is a smaller hole and was much harder to blow. This one cracked, so it became a bigger hole and it blew out really easily. So if you're having trouble blowing the inside of the egg out, make the hole at the bottom bigger. I'll usually put my finger over the top hole so I can turn it upside down and start making a hole at the bottom. If you have eggs and a push pin, you can get started doing that too. I've done 2. I'll probably do 3 or 4 at the bottom, maybe 5. I'll make it fairly big because you're going to laugh at me as I'm blowing these eggs. So there's my bottom hole. Okay, ready? Here I go. It takes a while. And I make funny noises. Don't blow so much that you get dizzy. Take a break. You can see the white of the yolk usually comes out first and is easier. The membranes inside the egg are harder to get out, and sometimes I'll use my fingers to kind of pull it if I can. It's hard to hold on to because raw egg is slippery. But here we go. Let's try it again. There. Now the yolk's starting to come out, and you keep blowing until you can hear the air coming out. Keep going. Oh, almost. Oh, look at that. Kind of fun. Maybe this blow will do it. There, did you hear that? The egg is totally blown out. Now, usually if I'm in the kitchen, I will rinse the inside of the egg out. Don't want any stinky egg smell as the egg inside gets rotten. I'm not going to do that today because that's in the other room. But there is one blown egg. I hope you've been able to do yours. Keep working on it. Once your egg is blown, I rinse it out, set it aside, and let it dry. So I just have a plastic container with a paper towel in the bottom, and I put the big side down so that the water that I've rinsed the egg with will drain onto the paper towel. Usually when I wash it, I'll turn it upside down and take my push pin and just turn on the water a little bit and put my push pin in and kind of pull it back and forth to help the water flow in. You know, when you're filling up a bottle, or pouring a bottle of something, air has to get in for the water or the liquid to go in. Air has to come out for the water to go in. So I kind of do this. Sometimes I'll use like the tip of a knife so that water can go in one side and the air can come out the other. After you have a little bit in there, I plug up the holes and I shake it just to make sure the inside's getting cleaned out good. And then I'll blow the water out of the egg. And then it goes into my little basket or plastic container so that the water can drain out. These 2 eggs I did earlier today, so they're all ready to go. Be careful with your eggs. You can, if you hold them too tight, they could crack. If you drop them, they can crack. Nothing worse than getting your egg all decorated and dropping it and having it break. They're actually fairly strong, and sometimes I'll drop it and think, oh no, it's gonna break. But it didn't. And then other times I just barely drop it and must hit it just right and it will break. So you never know, just be careful with them. They are actually pretty sturdy. So this egg, I'm going to use felt pens to color. If you use Sharpies, you don't have to be quite as careful about fingerprints and letting it dry. You can use water soluble or washable markers. If your fingers are sweaty or damp in any way, it's going to smear it a lot easier. So I would recommend Sharpies. You can also use crayons. I used crayons on this one, and I don't know why it's so washed out. But the crayon, once I had it done, you can see some of it looks smeared or melted. And that's because I took my blow dryer and kind of melted the crayon. So that's some of this area. I don't know why I'm so bright. So you can do that. My recommendation, if you're blow drying it, because the blow dryer is hot, is to make a little stand or use a paper clip so you can put it on the paper clip. You can actually, if you make the paper clip straight, go all the way across and then hold your paper clip like this while you're drying it so it can spin around and kind of melt. But anyway, you can use crayons. I'm sure colored pencils would work also. If you want to seal your egg when you're done, you can get Mod Podge or make your own Mod Podge. And just put a thin layer of it on there. It will give it a little bit of a shine. But just some other things you can do. So when I'm going to do an egg, I just kind of decide what kind of design I'm going to do. I like bright colors, if you hadn't noticed. So there's one of them. And this I just made weird shapes and colored them in. This egg was done with a Sharpie, and it did not have any Mod Podge on it, so it gets kind of shiny even with it. I don't know if I'm going to do anything else to this one, but it's pretty good just how it is. But anyway, I would suggest you do your lighter colors first, because if you do the dark colors, when you color with a lighter one right up to it, it will pull some of the color along. So do your lighter colors first. Don't stress about it. If you do a dark color first, it just works out a little bit easier. So then I'm just going to color, I'm going to just do splotches of different colors. Now, while this Sharpie is wet, I don't want to touch it. It will stay wet for just a little bit, but I don't want fingerprints. Now I'm going to do a yellow. Sorry. Okay. Yellow. Oh. What happened? Oh no. Okay. Phew. I'm back. Sorry. So a little yellow. Let's do another color too. We'll do some blue. Now with Sharpies, if you want to try a fun technique, this is why I have the alcohol spray bottle. Alcohol will, need some paper towels for this. Alcohol will spread the Sharpie. So let's put a dot in the, this is kind of what it's like working with alcohol ink. This is just a cheap version of it. I'm going to spray, and you can see how the blue is now turning green in the alcohol ink. So that's what the alcohol is for. If you're using Sharpies and want to mix colors. You can also use the alcohol to rub off the color and start over. Some of the darker colors won't come all the way off. I'll show you. But if I didn't like that, I could wipe it off. The blue will probably be a lighter blue. Yellow will come off almost all the way. You might have to do it a couple of times and let it sit on there. The eggshell is kind of porous, so you won't get all the color off. But if you made a mistake, you could do that, and then the dark colors you'll just have to go over with a dark color again. The light colors you could go over with a dark color and do something else. So that's Sharpies and alcohol. Another thing you can do is decoupage. Here's an egg. Here's an egg that was done, which would have been tissue paper, but my tissue paper is being a very good coronavirus object, and it's isolating itself in the library. So instead, I was thinking, what else could I use? And I know toilet paper is a highly desired product right now, but I made my own tissue paper with Sharpies and toilet paper. One little square of toilet paper could probably do 3 eggs. So it was 2-ply paper. I colored it with a Sharpie, sprayed it with a little alcohol, and then just ripped up the colors and put them on here. If you don't have Sharpies, you can use water washable markers. The green and the yellow and the pink were with washable markers. The blue, orange, and some of the yellow was done with Sharpies. So you can do both. Then you're just going to take a little bit of Elmer's glue or any kind of glue. Mix it with a little water so it's a little bit thinner. And then a paintbrush, and paint the glue on your egg. Rip off the colors from your tissue and put it on the egg, and then cover it again with another layer of glue. And that would make an egg like this. So there's many different ways you can get coloring on your egg. After that, this is the fun part, deciding how to really make it bling. So this egg was done with Sharpies. I colored the egg all yellow. Then I just made little tiny flowers all over it, put in some vines and some leaves. And I wanted the center of the flowers to have a little bling to it. So I used some glitter glue because I had it here at the house. You could glue beads onto it. A hot glue gun would work. Regular glue, but that takes a long time to dry. But anyway, oh, and see, I dropped it and it didn't even crack. So that's one way you can put bling on it. Here I used glitter glue again. I just made a series of circles all over the egg. And then I did glitter glue in between the circles. Some of them overlap, some don't. But that's that one. So that's how you make Faberge eggs. My version of them anyway. Use your imagination. Try to be creative. And when you're done with your projects, I would love to see them at the library. You can either take a picture of them and send them into the library or bring them in, or you can bring your actual egg. I would love to see them. That's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed how to make Faberge eggs, and I will try to answer questions. My assistant had to go out to work, so he couldn't help me today. I hope you have a nice day. Keep busy. There are so many things you can do. Oh, just a minute. Friday will be another craft class, and it will be much simpler. Kids will be able to do it much easier. We are going to make bunny ears or a paper bunny. So this will be Friday at 3. It's very simple. Paper or cardstock will work. I hope you enjoyed my little video on crafts, and come join me again on Friday. See ya. Bye.